Yan. Hey, everybody. We are here on our Growth with Oti Cesar Facebook page. And we are going live tonight to talk about the growth mindset. Yes, so we are still in the first minute of our live. We don't have any viewers yet. We don't have anybody with us in the room. Oh, we have one viewer already. Hello, good evening, and welcome to our live video viewer. Okay, so we are in our first minute and we are going to talk about a topic tonight. So I'm quite nervous because this is our first live video where we will be discussing a topic. It won't be the 3-2-1 growth format. We will actually be talking about the growth mindset. Okay, so parang mini lecture type of live tayo tonight. So we're gonna have a quick discussion and then followed by some Q&A where we will entertain the questions that you have regarding a growth mindset, okay, and how to apply, more importantly, how to apply it in dealing with your kids. Okay, good evening po, Mommy Jocelyn, and welcome to our live, Jocelyn Ponteres Sebastian. Hello po, Mommy Jocelyn, and welcome to our growth live video. Ayan. Okay, so as we've said earlier, we're gonna cover the growth mindset, and before we start, um, just a reminder that at the end of the video, we will be closing our early bird promo dun sa BM Babs natin. So if you have the time, you can check out yung BM Babs natin. So still early bird until the end of this live. And you can go to the link bit.ly, so that's bit.ly/BMBabs to register. Okay, open until the end of this live video. So let's go now to our discussion on the growth mindset. Or discussion talaga. Parang lecture. Parang lecture ano lang natin tonight. Yes. Okay, but ayan. So when we talk about the growth mindset, I keep repeating it. I keep talking about connection with the kids, or also trying to teach on how to deal with kids ballet using a growth mindset. So the growth mindset, of course, is what we want to cultivate in our kids. And ang pag-uusapan natin tonight is how to develop that in kids through our interactions with them. Okay? Kasi yun yung medyo hindi natin na pag-uusapan. Okay? So we keep repeating, you should develop a growth mindset. Pero how do we do it, Oti Cesar? So that's the question that we're gonna deal with now. Okay, so si growth mindset, ang kinokontra natin with it is a fixed mindset. Okay, so the fixed mindset basically is what we want to try to avoid our kids to have. Okay, and I have a very personal relationship with this concept din kasi ginamit ko rin siya on myself. Okay, while I was growing up and yun entering adulthood din. Okay, so I could say na while growing up I had a very fixed mindset. And I can encounter a lot of students, and while working sa review center, I encounter a lot of my students, yung mga incoming na occupational therapists, having this fixed mindset as well. So ano ba nangyayari with a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset? And why is it na problema yung fixed mindset? Okay, and paano nagiging useful si growth mindset in children? So ako, tanggalin muna natin yung BMBabs. Okay, so I've been through both stages, yung using ng fixed mindset and later now trying to apply yung growth mindset. So it's good muna to see how we have it as adults para we will know ano yung goal natin when we try to teach it to our kids. Okay? So si fixed mindset, okay, we already had this handout din sa page natin. Okay, isa to sa mga handouts na binigay natin sa Facebook page natin. So a guide on how to give praise. Okay, kasi sa praise, essentially yung the way we apply yung growth mindset in our kids. So we have to change the way we praise our kids when they have achievements, the way we deal with them when they experience failure, paano natin pinaprocess yung kids natin kapag natatalo sila, kapag hindi nila nakuha yung gusto nila, or if they set out a goal tapos hindi na-achieve. Okay, so yun yung second part. And lastly, yung helping them choose how to grow. So if you think about it, medyo higher level na siya of thinking. It needs a high level of self-awareness, or yun nga, as I've said, na-apply ko na rin siya personally as I became an adult. Pero of course, we want to apply this as early as possible with our kids. Kasi yun nga, yung application natin, pwede na siya magamit in the way that we praise and give reinforcement sa kids natin. Okay, so the way I encountered it was that na-experience ko yung both sides. As you've seen, yung sa ano natin, yung sa seminar natin was behavior management by a black sheep. So ako yung black sheep doon, ako yung pasaway, ako yung hindi sumusunod sa parents ko that time, ako yung mahirap i-manage. And then later on, I ended up yung sa career part ko naman as I became an adult, I ended up being a top notcher din sa board exam. So parang ang nangyari, I had this very quick shift of the identity that I set for myself, yung parang ikaw yung pasaway, hindi ka parang bulak-bulak kang in school or hindi ka masyadong nagseseryoso in school, and then you all of a sudden, yun yung nangyari na parang you were considered a top notcher, a top one, yung parang ganyan. So I had all these expectations set on me by my parents, yung sa colleagues ko, and I had a hard time interacting din with other people as a professional na kasi I had this mindset na, oh, dapat top notcher siya, dapat ganito ka, okay? Dapat makita ka nila as ganitong type of person or dapat ipakita mo sa kanila na deserving ka of this. Okay, so parang nag-kick in sa akin yung parang imposter syndrome. I felt like I don't deserve this, sana hindi ako yung naging ganito. So I was very careful with how I acted before, or how I dealt with my patients na dapat tama ka palagi, dapat may sagot ka palagi. So what happened was that I was very rigid, I was very parang I tried to present myself in a certain way na ang nangyari tuloy parang hirap ako kasi syempre even if I had years na of experience, hindi mo naman talaga alam lahat, di ba? So parang ganun yung nangyari with myself, and nakita ko siya na hindi lang pala siya sa akin nangyayari. It doesn't have You don't have to be a top notcher or a professional to experience this one dun sa fixed mindset. Okay? So I nakita ko yung sarili ko with kids who try to avoid difficult tasks. So I work with kids na kaka-introduce po pa lang ng activity. Kapag feel nila na mahirap or they get to fail, okay, or may part ng play na hindi nila kaya, uma-atras agad. Like they avoid the play, they avoid the activity. So teacher, this is hard. Teacher, this is difficult. Teacher, I don't want to do this, because they prefer activities na madali lang for them. 'Di ba? Kasi kapag madali lang yung activity, if it's easy for them, that means they're going to be successful with it. Tama? Matatapos nila yung activity, they get to play with it, they get to enjoy the activity. Kapag ka sila yung nanalo, sila yung nakatapos, or na-finish nila basically lahat ng requirements mo for that activity. So, anong nangyayari with the kids that I encountered, mahirap ipa-participate, yun nga, kapag bago yung activity or kapag may chance na mag-fail sila. So yun yung problem that we want to solve with introducing a growth mindset with kids. Okay? So, lalo na, I'm not sure if you've noticed din na parang medyo maraming kids now na yun nga, parang they want things na kaya nilang i-control, which is yun, yung mga games online, or merong mga restart, di ba, yung mga restart the game or reset lang a new round. It's a lot easier with online games, right? Pero it's difficult kapag ka nasa school. Like for example, if they make mistakes with handwriting, and then kailangan i-erase. Kasi kapag nag-erase ka, it means nagkamali. So ma-frustrate agad with handwriting, ayaw agad magsulat, and no agad. Or kapag natalo sila in a game, like mag-iiyak ng sobrang iyak talaga, di ba? Like grabe yung iyak, or hindi na makipaglaro with other kids. So, of course, with that one, instead of working on their skills, instead of improving on their abilities, ang nangyayari tuloy, they get to avoid, okay, things na to. And since they avoid the activity, wala din silang practice. And because wala silang practice, hindi din nag-improve, di ba? So, yun yung nangyayari if we don't introduce a growth mindset value with our kids, okay? And we want to target it early on, kasi we've seen, I think you have encountered, kasi ako, I work with OT professionals din na incoming, like yung mga student OTs transitioning to becoming professionals dun sa review. And I noticed a lot of OTs, and considering the OTs na to, so they're familiar with reinforcement, with behavior, with cognitive behavioral therapy, so they're familiar with those concepts, pero still, they kind of question their abilities, they don't have this strong, parang they want to avoid they want to avoid failure. They don't have this strong sense of ano yung strengths and weaknesses nila, kasi to be fair naman, hindi naman talaga siya topics na dinidiscuss sa atin lahat, di ba? So may schools na nagta-target nun, pero meron din schools na hindi wino-work on yung ganung level of self-awareness natin while we grow up, right? So that's why sa growth mindset natin nata-target yung ganung type of of development bale, which is under na yung self-awareness, yung personal development bale ng kids natin, which are concepts na hindi na nagfa-fall under yung academic curriculum, 'di ba? So hindi siya math, hindi siya science, hindi siya English, which are subjects na minsan binibigyan talaga ng pansin ng schools. But of course, these concepts about self-awareness, knowing yourself, knowing your strengths, yung weaknesses mo, para silang intangibles, right? They're things na we cannot see, we cannot feel, hindi na measure. Okay, so parang kaya siya hindi natatarget din kasi hindi mo naman na measure din how effective are these concepts or how useful are they in real life. Pero dealing with, entry-level professionals, nakikita ko talaga how hard it is for them to transition as adults. Kasi kapag adults ka na, 'di ba, yung wala na yung reinforcement na binibigay sa atin nung bata pa tayo, right? So as elementary or high school students, ang dali lang matuto na tama or mali yung ginagawa mo kasi may feedback from the teachers, right? So you get this report card na for this grade, for this quarter, ito yung performance mo. Like yung performance, you did so well in English or arts or music or PE. So you have a grade. Okay, naka-grade yung performance mo. So you know, you can measure kung gaano ka kagaling in responding in school. Now, when you become an adult, nawawala na yung lahat, right? So wala kang feedback, wala kang system on how to know how well you're doing with your life. Parang kapag pumasok ka sa professional, so tama ba yung choices mo with your career? Tama ba yung choices mo with your relationships? With managing your finances? With in planning out for ano yung gagawin mo with your education, like magma-masters ka ba or work abroad or magpapakasal ka na ba or yung mga concepts na of course for our kids, when we deal with kids medyo malayo pa siya, but of course when they already deal with those concerns and concepts that they have, syempre huhugot tayo dun sa the way we problem solve and the way we manage ourselves and our emotions and our behavior bata pa lang, into dealing with these adult concerns, right? So that's why at that stage pa lang, we have to teach our kids na kahit walang reinforcement, okay, kapag may reward or wala, kasi nga wala na silang report card pagka adults, di ba? Walang good job kapag ka nag-masters ka or good job kapag ka nagpakasal ka na or nagkaanak ka na. So, of course, merong mga congrats or ganyan sa Facebook, di ba, yung mga friends mo. But ikaw, when you already evaluate yourself and you evaluate your life, bale, ikaw lang din naman nakakapagsabi, di ba, based on the values that you set, if tama yung mga decisions mo or not at the end of the day, di ba? So, this is what we try to teach with a growth mindset ballet in our kids. So it sounds like so far off, but that's why we're gonna cover paano ba siya pinapasok in dealing with kids, especially if you're dealing with toddlers or children in their early childhood. Okay, so again, we have this handout that is ready for download or for printing in our Facebook page. So here, we're gonna divided into three parts when praising achievements, praising failure, and then choosing how to grow, which is more of their career choices na bale in helping out our kids. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So here, a fixed mindset. In a fixed mindset, you're teaching a child that their talents and abilities are permanent. It's a part of their identity and achieves good results no matter the task. So, kasi fixed nga siya, so whatever they're good at, okay, so you're good at math, you're good at science. So parang naging part na sila of who they are. So good ako with this subject. So that means everything related to this subject dapat master ako. Okay? So that's why naging mali siya or naging mahirap siya kasi when they deal with tasks related to it. For example, they're good with numbers, they're good with counting, and you praise them na, oh, you're a natural, oh, this is so easy for you. Ang galing mo talaga, di ba? So they ingrain in their minds na magaling ako dapat with this. So when it gets difficult, like when you go already to addition or multiplication and mahihirapan sila with those concepts, they avoid it right away kasi wait lang, magaling ako with numbers. Why am I having a hard time with multiplication and ganyan-ganyan? Okay? Or yan yung kapag good yung mindset, yung statement bale na view nila of themselves. Pero we also have kids na ginagawa na nilang identity na I'm bad with numbers or I'm bad with math. And marami tayong kilala, di ba, na dinadala na nila into adulthood na I'm bad with math. So that's why ang iniisip nila, they have to avoid courses like accountancy or engineering na mataas yung chance that they're going to encounter numbers. Di ba? Kasi parang part of my identity ng pangit, hirap ako with math. And so they avoid anything related to it. And of course, with that one, they miss career opportunities then, okay? Or they rely on others for numbers. So they rely on others for their taxes, for their business decisions, kasi they don't trust themselves with that one. Kasi yun nga yung identity nila, right? So, fixed siya, it means na they see themselves na part na siya of their identity. So, it's really hard to give them proof na hindi, kapag ka nag-practice ka lang or kapag ka nagbigay ka ng sarili mo ng more chance to learn about this topic, you could improve on it. Right? Yes. So, it's easier to understand if side by side na natin silang dalawa ni growth mindset. Kasi si growth mindset naman, it teaches a child that their talents and abilities can still change. It can develop with practice, and results depend on the effort they give. So whatever happens or whatever results that they get coming from relying on a task, okay, related to that skill, hindi nila titignan yung label nila of themselves, but ang statement na bale is that if they choose to focus on something or if they given enough effort and practice, makukuha nila bale yung gusto nila related to it. Okay? Or yung goal na sinet out nila for themselves to do. So, that's why here, kaya siya growth mindset kasi wherever you are in the present, pwede pa siyang magbago. And again, if you look at it, yung focus this time is on the effort. Okay? Hindi lang siya on their natural abilities bale. So, paano ba yung difference niya? Okay? So, if you compare both, si natural ability kasi, yun nga, parang fixed na siya dun sa identity niya. So whatever task, dapat perfect ka na on it, dapat ma-achieve mo na. Whereas in the growth mindset, kapag ka may something ka na hindi alam, okay lang. Parang ganyan. Okay? Or kapag ka may new version of this or may bagong variety when it comes to the task or the challenges, okay lang kasi you're still growing and you can still learn about a certain topic. Kahit master ka na about this topic, there could be a new way to look at it, a new way to apply it, na pwede nilang ma-learn and ma-apply it in their lives, okay, or in their practice, bale, or their career. So, and dito, the good thing is that depending, yung abilities nila depends on the effort that they give. So, parang relative yung hard work, okay, yung hard work and effort na nilalagay nila dun sa success na ma-achieve nila, which is a really good way to look at it kasi kapag ka, for example, kapag ka i-compare mo yung natural ability versus effort, di ba, one of it is out of your control, the other one is kaya mo siyang i-control. Di ba? So, kapag feeling mo out of control ka on the situation, syempre mas prone ka not to do anything about it. So, if you view yourself, naturally pangit talaga ako with math, hindi talaga ako magaling with math and numbers. So yung kids natin, they would think, and ganun naman talaga yung ability ko. So regardless of what I put in, okay, wala din mangyayari kasi ganun na talaga ako. But if you introduce a growth mindset, of course, they're gonna think na if they put in effort, if they put in practice, if they spend more time on their homework, that means gagaling at gagaling din sila with it. Right? Okay, so let's go now to how we can apply that in dealing with kids. So si fixed mindset natin, this is the type of praise that we give them. Okay, when they achieve success. So, ito mga statements na, you're a natural, or you're the smartest, or yung mga statements na general na, very good job, ayan, you're always the best, or good, you're born gifted, nice work as usual. So, yung mga medyo exaggerated na tong dulo, like you're born gifted, I think wala naman nagsasabi. Pero yung mga, you're natural, good job, ganyan. So, I think mas maraming nagsasabi sa atin yan, or gumagamit, kasi ako din, admittedly, yung statement na good job or very good, nagagamit ko pa rin talaga siya as a therapist. So parang naging automatic na rin siya for me or parang reflex na when my kid does something well. So this is, kahit ako din, I'm still a work in progress pagdating sa pag-apply ng ganitong type of praise. Okay, so you will see later sa growth mindset, okay, kung paano siya ina-apply and paano siya babaguhin. But we're just painting a picture now of the type of praise, okay, that we do kapag ka nag-encourage tayo ng fixed mindset. Of course, before I learned this one, ganun din yung ginagawa ko. I wasn't aware of it yet. Pero dun ko lang naisip na, ganito pala yung effect dun sa kid ko, right? It sounds good kasi if you read at the praise, di ba, it looks like wala namang mali dun. Parang good it sounds positive nga, di ba? But again, what happens is that we want to prevent having them build this identity of themselves na natural ako, parang ganyan. So if natural ako, it means everything should be good for me. Everything should be easy, right? I'm the best. So ibig sabihin, dapat walang makatalo sa akin. Or else, hindi na ako the best. So, di ba? So parang ganyan yung nangyayari kasi with the fixed mindset. That's why we want to avoid it. Okay, next one. Okay, next one here. And again, if you have this one, yung you're a natural or you're born this way, you're born gifted, para siyang out of their control. Like they're good, not because of the effort they put in. So it's like really out of your control, out of their control din. Kasi ganito na ako pinanganak. So kahit anong gawin ko, ito na talaga ako. Parang ganun siya. Bale, right? Next, let's go to if they experience failure naman. So this is of course, what we say to them kapag ka-fixed mindset. So, what's happening? Dapat magaling ka dito. Dapat alam mo na to, di ba? You're already old enough to do this on your own. So, ganyan, you're supposed to be good at this. You're a natural. You should know this. Look, it's easy for all your classmates and friends. So, this develops a fixed mindset kasi yun nga, yung expectations, it's already there. And regardless, yun yung mindset din na kapag ka na-achieve na nila once, they should be good at it all the time, which is not true, of course, kasi for example, for tasks na hindi mo nakapractice all the time or kapag kayong kid natin, for example, may ibang factors outside of their control, like for example, yung, di ba, yung kapag kulang sa tulog or wala sa mood, kahit nga tayo adults, di ba, there are days na we have bad days din. So, may days tayo na pangit talaga yung mood natin or ayaw natin mag-participate or we don't want to do an activity. So, ayun. So, of course, that also happens in kids. Like, meron talagang days na ganun sila for them, okay? So, here, ang next part is, in the long term naman, when they choose their careers, you're so good, so you should be a doctor or lawyer, so related na yan into the labels that we put them in towards their careers. And of course, kasama na rin dito yung cultural part. This is just very specific lang. But you can imagine how to apply it in different contexts. So kapag yung family niyo, a family of lawyers, a family of businessmen, a family of ganito, ganyan, so you just change lang that one when you apply it. Okay? So don't do that. That's not for smart kids. Or don't do this kasi dapat magaling ka lang with ganitong activities. You'll be successful if you do this, this, and this based on your assessment of your kid. And then kayo na yung magde-decide what's good for them or not. Okay? And comparing it this time, so we're gonna compare it now to a growth mindset. Paano ba natin babaguhin yung the way we praise our kids? And paano natin i-encourage pa yung growth mindset at a young age so that they could apply it later on when they grow older. Okay, so very easy to spot yung difference. So if you could see the difference, ano yung makikita natin bale when we use a fixed versus a growth mindset. Okay, so compare natin yung praise na ginagamit natin. Ayan. So when we give praise, ito yung kanina, you're a natural, you're the smartest. So instead of that one, we're going to use these following examples. So you have, wow, you enjoy math and remember a lot of strategies. So good effort on your project. You made progress from when you started. So with this one, medyo mahaba siya, but you get the point na it's a lot more specific. Okay, so what you want to put dun sa, it doesn't have to be this long. Okay, hindi siya kailangan. So if you notice, meron pa rin, wow, or good job. And then the following statement would be something na specific. Okay, para to point out kung saan sila naglagay ng effort bale. Okay, so good job, you put in effort. Good job, you tried. Okay, so very good that you still played with the other kids even if it was hard for you. Or see, you thought it was something that you couldn't do but you still joined. Yung mga ganyan na type of statement. So you want it to be specific. You want to point out saan sila naglagay ng effort or saan sila nag-focus on. And that is regardless of the result. Okay, so regardless if nanalo sila or natalo, so that's still good. You did your best on this activity. I saw how much you practiced. I saw how much you tried to put in time on an activity or your homework. Okay, so bale ang praise na binibigay natin is not on the results. Okay, which is of course sometimes out of their control, like yung score nila or yung placement nila in a competition, but more on how much time and effort they gave dun sa preparations nila bale or yung pag-perform nila on the task. So, ito lang yung examples natin. So, you enjoy math. Remember, a lot of strategies instead of like you're a natural in math, you're really smart in math, di ba? So, parang yun lang yung side by side natin to have a better understanding of the growth mindset. Okay, so this is nag-praise ka during success, and here naman yung praise when they experience failure. So kanina, ito yung examples natin, you should be good at this, but when you apply a growth mindset, very important here yung yet. Okay, so we have an example here, you can't do it yet. You're still having a hard time because you just started. It gets easier as you keep learning and practicing, and everybody starts as a beginner. So these are statements that I use din talaga in my work with kids kasi especially in kids na parang very anxious or very nervous in trying out new things, or yun nga, yung nag-avoid ng activities na pwede silang may chance na magkamali or mag-fail. Okay, so si statement, yung yet statement, you can't do it yet, you're acknowledging na hindi pa rin nila kaya. That's true naman, di ba? True naman, hindi niya pa kaya. But si yet means na you can't do it now, but you're gonna do it soon, right? So you just need to put in practice and effort so that you'll be good enough with this task. So you're not putting an expectation na kailangan niya alam agad, okay? And you're also not telling lies. Hindi ka nagsasabi na, hindi, magaling na yun, good enough na yun, di ba? Kasi you know naman talaga na hindi, okay? What we want to avoid is to praise our kids kahit na hindi pa talaga nila kaya. Kasi what's going to happen is that kasi 'di ba that's true. I've encountered parents na medyo careful sila with giving, with saying no, or nag-fail yung kid. So that's why ayaw nila matalo or ayaw nila mag-fail with an activity. And that is also harmful if you look at it, di ba? Kasi kapag ikaw yung ka-encounter niya, okay lang kasi kaya mo siyang ma-avoid from failure. Kaya mo siyang ma-protect, bale, from that type of situation. Pero outside of their interaction with you, paano kapag sa school hindi niya magawa, 'di ba? Or paano kapag nakipaglaro siya with other kids tapos natalo? So hindi niya na practice paano matalo with just you. How can we expect them to react well when they're dealing already with other kids? That's why this is useful kasi we're teaching them how to deal with failure already and rejection kapag sa atin pa lang. Okay, when we say no, kapag natalo sila with games playing with adults, para when they encounter the same situation with other kids, okay, marunong na rin sila mag-deal with those situations, right? So, pinaprepare na sila bale for those situations para hindi din sila mabigla. And also, ang mangyayari din, they would trust din our praise less kapag ka nag-like ka. For example, hindi, tama lang yun, good lang yun, or nanalo siya palagi. Di ba? Kasi when they play with other kids, ay, hindi pala ako kasing galing as I thought. 'Di ba? Or ay hindi pala totoo yung sinabi ni mommy na I'm perfect or I'm really good at this. 'Di ba? Kasi ba't ako natalo, 'di ba? So parang ganun yung nangyayari. So it's okay. What's good naman with that is na acknowledge mo na hindi niya pa kaya, but just for now. That's why very helpful yung pagiging specific mo about, you can't do it now. You had a hard time yesterday, you had a hard time today in math, okay? So very specific lang with the time, with the feedback para alam niya na yun yung nangyari and still open pa rin siya to improving their skills and abilities, right? Yes, and next one you're still having a hard time because you just started, which is true. And what's going to happen here, what we encourage then, is that your kids could be more open into trying out new stuff, okay, trying out new things, which is really good when they want to encounter or try to explore already other options for their career, or as children, when they want to explore other options for games or leisure, di ba? Na hindi naman necessarily kailangan magaling ka with everything, okay, with everything they try. So, so that's one thing, hindi siya magaling with everything, okay, okay lang, kahit hindi ganun. And naturally, you can have activities din. Kahit tayo as adults, di ba, na you want to excel at work or you want to excel in family life, pero you're medyo lax ka with a specific hobby, or there's also a hobby na gusto mo competitive ka dun, pero with this hobby, okay lang, chill ka lang, kasi hindi siya ganun as important with you. So parang ganun bali yung inaano natin with our kids na yun, if they see themselves as having to be perfect or having to avoid failure, na okay lang, may task na okay lang na hindi ka ganun kagaling, and may task na where you really are expected to put in as much effort as you can, especially kapag sa school na yung pinag-uusapan, right? Yes, last one would be with their career options instead of dictating what they want. So we want them to identify their strengths. So what are you good at? Some topics ka interested in? What problems do people go through that you want to solve? And we can try it to know if you want to do it. So we're letting it, we're leaving it lang na mas open sila to discovering things. And I think we've seen this becoming more useful din sa time natin now. I think we've seen na yung mga career options na sinabi ng parents natin before, okay, and yung the way we manage our finances or the way we manage our lives in choosing, yung career options, di ba? I'm not sure if we're the same, pero yung nung bata kasi ako, the way they said it is dapat yun nga, parang aral, and then, di ba, mag-aaral ka, magtatrabaho, and then abroad na yung end game, and then dapat mag-save ka, you have to do the house, do the family, mga ganyan. So, step by step, right? And dapat ganitong time yung trabaho, papasok ka. So, yun yung parang tinuro sa atin growing up. I'm not sure if same. So, tell me sa comments if same tayo ng experience, pero parang laid out na yung plans, bale, for your life dati. And then we encounter now a situation like the pandemic or yung mga career options of today na nag-shift, right? So ang daming options na for online, ang daming options for work from home, or yung mga ganong types of options na okay lang din naman pala if hindi ka mag-abroad. So you have to try to adapt and try to see for yourself, kasi nga yung nilayout natin kanina was that in adulthood, wala ka ng report card about how well you do as an adult, di ba? So wala nang nagsasabi sa na good job ka doon, dito ka nag-work, or good job na ito yung options mo, ito yung pinili mo for your love life, or good job na ito yung ginawa mo with your pera, di ba? So wala ka ng report card of how well you do. So that's why you have to try to learn how to evaluate yourself, di ba, based on the values you set and the goals that you set out for yourself, di ba? So ikaw mag-evaluate na at the end of the day na parang I want to put a lot of importance dun sa family time. So may ganun kang value halimbawa. So ikaw na mag-evaluate, am I really scheduling a lot of time to spend with my family? Or if you have a value na very important for me yung financial security, and I have to learn how to invest in ganyan. And then you try to evaluate yourself, how much of your money do you put into savings and investment? Diba? So ikaw na bahala based on the values that you set. Or if you want to have more time in your work and career and be productive, diba? Or make a contribution, mga ganyan. So you try to see your schedule, how much time do you allot for work, how productive how productive are you when it comes to spending time for work and then na-finish mong task, mga ganyan, di ba? So parang wala ka ng report card policy. You have to learn how to reflect, develop insight, which is of course something na medyo abstract, na medyo parang concept lang siya hanging in the air. So that's why we have to teach our kids to plan it and practice it with themselves, right? Yes, tama ka dyan. Tama ka dyan, Daddy J. Yes, thank you so much. And welcome again. And nandito siya in the past 3 lives natin or 4. And welcome. Ay, hindi. Sa lahat ata. And thank you for being here again tonight, Daddy J. Ayan. Okay, so yun yung comparison natin for our fixed and our growth mindset, right? So if you have any questions, you type them down below. If you have questions then about applying, okay, the concept into dealing with kids. And of course, here, a growth mindset prepares kids for the future, because this really teaches them then how to deal with not just not just themselves, but also aligning yung mga expectations nila sa sarili nila versus yung expectations ng society sa kanila, right? Yes, so it looks like, yun nga, ulitin ko lang na medyo abstract siya tingnan, or it's something na parang masyadong complex for our kids. But of course, we can already apply it, okay, in the way that we play with them, the way we give praise, bale, when we interact with them. Ayan siya. Yes. So if you have any questions, and i-lead back ko lang, okay, as we end, i-lead back ko lang dun sa the way I applied it din with myself. Kasi yun nga, as I entered adulthood, yung naging top 1 ako, parang I was so rigid, I was so fixed na dapat ganito ako, dapat alam ko lahat, ganyan. And I would have lectures before. So this is good progress already sa akin na nagla-live ako and then talking in front of people na hindi ko nakikita right now in front of me. So I don't know what you think or how you feel or ano yung feedback ninyo about what I'm saying here. Pero before talaga as a lecturer dun sa review center, and before I started ito mga seminars, parang very rigid ako, like I was standing in front of the class and hindi talaga gumagalaw, and parang hirap talaga ako magsalita, and I had to be very, very, very careful about what I say kasi dapat tama ako, dapat perfect yung sinasabi ko, parang ganyan. And so it caused a lot of anxiety in me, then very scared ako with the lectures before. So what happened was that before, medyo alam ko dinner time tayo na, but like nag-ano talaga ako before a lecture, like nagpa-vomit kasi ganun ako katakot before talking in front of a lot of people. Like, papasok ako sa room, I enter this classroom and I have students na 70 plus or 100 plus, or may room kami before na yun almost 200 na, and right now yung Zoom namin sa review umaabot ng 200 plus, ganyan. So I talk with so many people, and then ang gagawin ko, papasok ako sa room, titingnan ko yung dami ng tao, and then matatakot na ako kasi anong isipin nila sa akin, dapat perfect ako sa lecture, and then lalabas ako, going to the bathroom, and then para lang ma-decrease yung anxiety ko before. So, ganun ako nag-start. That happened for like 2 years of my teaching career. Um, and nag-continue lang talaga ako kasi I really enjoy teaching, yung teaching itself. Okay, and then nangyari lang yun kasi ay yung view ko lang sa sarili ko na dapat alam mo kasi top 1 ka and you have to be like this. Okay, so ganun pala kahit adult na ako, I had this fixed mindset, and I shifted. Okay, when I learned about this growth mindset na okay lang naman pala. Okay, okay lang naman pala. And even as an OT, kayo din as parents or as if there are therapists listening now, na okay lang din talaga, 'di ba? Na kapag parent ka na, you don't have to know everything, 'di ba? Or kapag ka OT ka, nagsa-start ka or speech ka or PT ka, you don't have to know everything talaga kasi nobody does. Parang ganyan no yung concept ng growth mindset din. So, that's what we want to teach our kids then na just because they're good at an activity or a concept or a subject, okay? They will encounter things na mahirapan talaga sila at mahirapan, right? So we keep saying that the first step to solving a problem is acknowledging, right? It's acknowledging that it's a problem. And okay lang, okay lang. Kasi if you acknowledge already na may problema, that means you're gonna spend your time na looking out for solutions, trying your best into solving it. And kapag hindi kaya, you can go towards asking for help, reaching out to other people na mas may alam about that certain topic. And that's what we do din naman, di ba, as adults. Like, so that means okay lang din siya for kids. Right? So yun lang yung inaano natin with our kids na yun. And kahit asking for help is already a solution. Right? So parang yun yung inaano natin with our kids with having a growth mindset na okay lang if magkamali, okay lang if they mess up. But that's also an indication na nagta-try sila ng something new. Okay? And then they ask themselves na do you enjoy it or not? Kasi if they enjoy it, just like how I felt with teaching, okay, then you can put more effort into it, put more practice, and later on, maging okay ka na, di ba, with it. So, ayan siya. And ganun din for parents, especially when you're dealing with in-laws or yung mga society, di ba, yung kapag may titingin sa'yo in public, like, bakit umiiyak yung anak niya? Hindi niya ba na-manage ng ayos? Or bakit nagtatantrum yung kid niya? Hindi ba siya magaling na parent? Di ba, may mga ganyan na, kasi nakaka-relate ako kasi na-encounter ko rin siya as a therapist before sa clinic. Nagsa-start ka pa, tapos iyak yung kid mo. Of course, kakamit pa lang namin, di ba? Or of course, this is our first week pa lang. So, you're gonna expect the kid to cry with me. Parang ganyan yung ano. Pero, when I was starting out, yung mindset ko, dapat hindi siya umiyak or else, ibig sabihin, hindi ako magaling na therapist, di ba? But with this one, it's really all about shifting the mindset mo rin. Okay, na okay lang kasi I'm also in my growth process and I'm still learning how to deal with the kid. And of course, yun nga, ang ano rin with that growth mindset, when it comes to behavior naman, shifting towards behavior, yung focus naman natin, which we will talk about dun sa BM Babs, the focus is really more on the kid. Kasi if you look at it, yung focus ko during that time was more of myself as a therapist. Like, I have to be a good therapist, kaya dapat hindi umiyak yung bata. Right? Instead, or I have to be a good parent to show people na parang hindi siya umiyak or sumusunod siya agad. Right? So it's focused on you and your identity din versus thinking about what the child needs. So, ang nangyari doon, it shifted. When I shifted towards a growth mindset, like, okay lang sa akin if hirap ako with a kid kasi I don't know all kids and I don't know all the strategies. Parang ganyan yung ginamit kong mindset. And while starting out as a therapist, I still have a lot of things to learn. I still have a lot of things to develop. Ganon din yung parents if they're dealing with their kid, especially if it's a first child, di ba? So parang kahit na basahin mo lahat ng libro or you have all the experts around you, there will still be times na kailangan mo talaga mag-go through ng, that's a natural part of practice. Di ba? Mahirapan at mahirapan ka talaga. But of course, if you don't go through that difficulty, hindi ka rin magiging expert, hindi ka rin magiging master dun sa napili mo bale na route. Which is, of course, sa parents, yun, yung pag-manage ng behavior, dealing with their child's concerns, or how to interact and process medyo difficult na topics with your kids, di ba? Yung medyo mas abstract like relationships, or later on yung mga religion, politics, yung mga ganyan na or sexual relationships, yung mga ganyan na topics later on with your kids. Ayan siya. Okay, so I'm not sure if you have questions, or medyo it's okay din if it's something to take in, kasi ako din when I was starting, when I first encountered this concept, parang masyadong ideal naman siya pakinggan. Masyadong parang perfect pakinggan. Parang maganda lang siya on paper pakinggan. Parang ganyan yung inisip ko about the growth mindset. But later on, when I applied it with my kids, doon ko nakita na parang mas okay siya with me, na yung expectations ko medyo kailangan ko i-adjust, or parang uh, ina-appreciate ko rin bale yung kaya ng kid ko now, and hindi ko inaano agad na dapat ganito na yung wino-work on natin, or dapat ganito na yung skill level mo kasi ito yung pinakita mo sa akin the past therapy session. Yung parang ganyan bale yung changes na nangyari with me din as a therapist as I practiced. And yun din, it improved the way I dealt with kids, kasi since mas may mindset ako na yung kids ko bale okay lang, like when we're in a growth journey, ako rin as a therapist, okay, ni-lesson ko rin bale yung expectations ko with myself and yung kid din. And so na-realize mo na parang mas na-appreciate mo bale yung small successes that you encounter, and mas nagbe-build din kami ng momentum na since okay kami with this task, like mas madali siya for me, and mas happy din sa work, and hopefully sa inyo din in dealing with your kids, kasi mas na-identify mo na yung parang small milestones along the way, instead of always comparing yourself into this really far off goal that you have in mind already. So ayan siya. Yes, so ina-apply ko to hindi lang sa therapy. I also apply this in my financial journey din, the way I'm planning. Sometimes I'm frustrated na dapat may ganito na ako, dapat may ganyan ka na, kasi yung iba mong ka-age, may ganito, ganyan na, di ba? And you realize, oh, different naman kami ng starting points, yung mga ganyan, di ba? Or sa career, dapat ganito na ako, may ganito na ako, may ano ka na, may achievements ka na dapat na ganito, pero iba din kami na, pero when you compare yourself with other people, you realize, oh, iba, the reason why I have different successes, it's because I also started off with different skills and abilities, different kami ng strengths, different din kami ng resources, different din kami ng gusto, different din kami ng starting points, and of course, yung gusto namin mapuntahan. So that's why you have a different situation with other people. But ultimately, it's really having this parang appreciation of who you are and saan ka rin at your current point of your journey. And pinaka nagamit ko siya with my kids nung nagamit ko na rin siya with myself, kasi na-feel ko na yung difference na, ganito pala yung ibig sabihin ng growth mindset. So, when I felt that, ito din pala yung gusto kong mapa-feel sa kids, bale, when we worked on this one. Ayan siya. And that's it for our live tonight. So if you don't have any questions, ayan siya. I'll just repeat lang. So we have, if you still haven't registered, we're still opening our early bird promo until the end of this live. So we have here day 1, shifting perspectives. Day 2 will be how to manage before the behavior happens. So that means yung preparation balik, because what I do din as a therapist, you can use strategies kapag ina-expect mo na is to avoid that behavior, para hindi tayo mapunta dun sa challenging behavior itself. Okay? So I believe that the best way to manage a challenging behavior is to find ways to avoid it talaga, para hindi na kayo mapunta dun sa tantrum part, okay, or dun sa nagwawala na yung kid natin. Okay? So there are ways to avoid, and I think this is the way we want to move forward din, na since alam mo na yung triggers on the behavior, alam mo na yung pinaka-cause ng behavior, there are really ways where we can avoid it, and also um, pwede mo siyang ma-apply when you go already to public spaces, or kapag in school, in other situations. So before the behavior even happens, okay, and that requires identifying ano yung cause ng behavior, pwede mo nang magawa. Okay, so yun yung i-deal with natin sa day 2 pa lang. Okay, ang shifting pala perspectives, yung day 1 natin, we're gonna deal with theories, yung mga strategies that OTs use So you're gonna go into an OT mind, bale, an occupational therapist mind, into ano yung mga ways on how we identify causes. I said sa day 2 na i-avoid natin yung problem behaviors, how we set up the environment, how we try to expose them into situations na less likely mag-cause ng behavior. So that sa day 1 pa lang, we're gonna identify the theory, the strategy behind the behavior management, and also laying down bakit kailangan natin i-address yung mga problem behaviors kasi we want to when we deal with challenging behaviors, if hindi siya ma-manage ng ayos, it could lead to even worse problems, okay, or another diagnosis because of that problem behavior. So hindi natin na-address yung pag-develop ng skills or the way they interact with other people, not just you, but also other kids, other parents, other adults, okay, when they go to school already or the playground. So titingnan na natin or get into the OT's mind and then try to understand saan nanggagaling yung strategies na ginagamit sa clinic. And then and after day 1, we go to before the behavior, madaling tandaan yung days. Kasi after that is we talk about how to manage the challenging behavior when it's happening. So that's during the behavior. And also day 4 is after the behavior. How do we process kung paano sila nag-respond or tayo din as parents and therapists on how do we process yung behavior na nangyari bale. Okay? So we're gonna cover strategies on building a connection with the kid, which is really important. And the reason why I built this course then, kasi nga, behavior management by a black sheep, I had this phase sa life ko where I was the black sheep of the family. I think parang we had a consensus sa family namin kasi I'm from a family of 5 boys and parang silang lahat nag-ano na I was the black sheep. Pero it was a phase while I was growing up na medyo nahirapan talaga. Looking back naman, looking back, na alam kong nahirapan din yung parents ko handling me. And so I saw myself then in the kids, okay, that I work with, and nakita ko yung parents ko dun sa parents ko na clients now. Okay, na parang yung iniiyak ka ng mama ko before and yung sobrang hirap na siya before because she dealt with me. So parang yun yung gusto ko ma-solve na to have families na okay yung relationships nila with each other. And of course, ayoko maisip ng kids then later on when they grow up na ako yung nagpahirap sa parents ko or ako yung difficult child in the family because that's what I felt then, and it causes some guilt, ganyan. And yung family ko din, yung parents ko rin naman, I know they try their best, and of course, it also leaves them questioning na parang tama ba to sa akin? Like, am I a bad parent? Is there something wrong with me? And yun yung ayoko din maisip ng parents handling their kids. Kasi kahit na hindi pa siya nasasabi before, di ba, kahit wala sila, kahit hindi pa siya na-verbalize or nasasabi in words, syempre ramdam mo rin as a child, di ba, na parang ayaw ng parents mo sa'yo or ako din ayaw ko sa kanila. So parang ganun yung gusto ko ma-change value with this course. And compared to our pioneer batch, we now have yung changes natin for batch 2. We now have recordings. Okay, so that you can review in case you miss out on the course. Meron ng Zoom recordings. We have a workbook kasi of course we have these changes because we listen to the feedback from the first one. And yung recordings, because we have parents who are really busy, of course we know na minsan may emergencies or may changes sa schedule natin ng biglaan. And because this runs for 4 days, that means na may parents talaga na may matatamaan na appointment or commitments prior to this one. So this is July 28 to 31. So pag meron kayong prior commitment that you couldn't join, so don't worry, you can catch up with the recordings and it will be good for an entire month after the last day of the course. Okay? And again, this is the last time na rin that we're gonna offer behavior management by Black Sheep for this year. The next time will be next year na. So I hope we see you there. And we have a workbook kasi sabi nila they had a hard time catching with the slides and the discussion. So we are giving out a workbook para you would focus more on the explanations and the applications rather than yung pag-take down ng notes dun sa slides natin. So para lang easier din, tama naman, para easier din yung flow natin and we can make use of the time that we have. So Facebook group so that you can have discussion on specific cases or situations that you have. And because we're starting earlier at 7 o'clock, in the evening na to, para you'll have dinner time. Okay, after dinner at 7 o'clock, you will have more time for Q&A where we will cover all your specific questions for application na dun sa kid ninyo. Okay? Sige. So, again, this is because of the feedback that you gave, and we want to improve more on the program. And so hopefully, bettering experience ninyo with batch 2 for behavior management by a black sheep. Ayan siya. And that's it. So at this after this live, so we're offering it for 2499. But because you're here in the live video natin at our live session, we're offering it still for 1999 as part of our early bird promo, which will end at midnight tonight. We're extending this because you are attending our live video. So go now to the link. Ay, wait lang. Asan na ba yung link natin? At BM Babs to register. Ayan. BM Babs to register. That's a bit.ly link. bit.ly/bmbabs to register bit.ly/bmbabs to register. Ayan siya. And I hope to see you there. This is 4 days because we really want to make sure na my application part. Um, so sa course na to, this is 4 days. We're not gonna cover it in just one day because there will be homework. So you will have application at the end of every day. Kasi behavior management is not just, we don't want it to be a sit-down activity and then alis kayo and then you're gonna come out, very good, I'm a new parent, I'm a good parent, ganyan. And then a few weeks after, ay, hindi pala, or ay, hindi ko kaya, hindi siya sustainable, hindi siya ma-maintain, di ba? So we want to take it step by step. So we have a homework for day 1, we have homework for day 2 para ma-target ninyo yung connection and then compliance. So we have homework for every day para ma-learn ninyo paano i-apply yung concepts. We won't make it quick kasi again, we want to take time para mas long-term din yung changes na ma-achieve ninyo with your child. And that's it for our live tonight. Ayan siya. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, just comment down below. But yeah, I'm really happy to see you tonight. It's a Wednesday. Alam ko, outside siya of our Tuesday schedule. But thank you again for joining and thank you for spending time with me. And I'll see you in our next live dinner discussion next week. And bye-bye! Sana yung end. Bye-bye! And then natin. See you soon.